What's up everybody? So in this video we're going to be talking about evolution and speciation. Remember, this is an HL video. Now let's just get started. So the first thing we need to talk about is speciation. Now speciation, as the name implies, is formation of a new species. Now the tricky thing is to understand how speciation happens, okay? So essentially focus on this sentence here. Speciation is when a group of the same species is not able to reproduce together due to some form of barrier, okay? And if this barrier remains, or they remain separated by this barrier for a long enough period of time, it could lead to speciation. Because if this barrier is persistent, that means these two groups of the same species are now living different lives because this barrier is separating them. If they live these different lives for long enough, they will start adapting and changing to suit those lives better, and therefore over time become different, and eventually so different that they are different species. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. That's vaguely how speciation happens. Now there are three kinds of these barriers. Okay, I mentioned these barriers. Now what are these barriers? Geographical barrier. We're going to talk about these in detail, so don't worry. Behavioral barrier and temporal barrier. Okay, so all of these three barriers lead to reproductive isolation, meaning the same species is now isolated because they can't come together to breed because of this barrier. So they are reproductively isolated. They can't reproduce together. Okay, so now we can split these three barriers into two categories. Okay, let me show you. The first one I think is the most simple one to understand. It's called allopatric speciation. Allo means different, and patric means kind of like location. So this is speciation that happens because of a species being split into two different locations. Okay, so there's an actual physical barrier. We call that geographical barrier. Okay, so let me show you here. So this is when a new species forms because a population is separated by a physical boundary. So geographical barrier leads to allopatric speciation. So for example, we're going to look at some examples on the next page, okay? But just know, so for example, there was this area where all of these green lizards existed. Then a barrier came, separating these green lizards into two separate locations, one here and one here. Over time, because these lizards had to live different lives, they had different environment, they slowly changed over time. So maybe this side, they didn't need to change much, but because of the other location, they slowly started changing over time to form a new kind of species, which is why I made them here orangey, okay? So that is allopatric speciation, okay? For access to our full-length premium videos and so much more, head over to teachme.org now.